Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Awkward Situations, the series where I reply to your comments about awkward situations, embarrassing stories, or whatever else you guys want to talk about. We discuss that stuff in this video. So I have 2 awkward situations from previous episodes to update you guys on. Actually, on my last episode of Awkward Situations, I got 3 updates in the comments, which was really exciting. I've never had that many, but I'm going to save one of the updates for next week's Awkward Situation episode in case I don't get any updates in the comments this week. So before we get to that, I wanted to let you guys know that I am participating in a giveaway right now with some other YouTubers. Info in the description below if you want to participate in it. It's one of those Gleam giveaways. I've never done one where you follow people on Twitter for more entries or you subscribe to them on YouTube. It gives you guys the chance of winning a PlayStation 4 and a copy of Call of Duty World War II when that comes out. And it gives me more subscribers and more Twitter followers. So yeah, I'm not getting paid for it. I have been doing a lot of sponsored content lately. I appreciate all of you guys who are chill with the sponsored content, and the comments have been good. It doesn't seem to be annoying too many people. I wish that I could do maybe 1 sponsored video a month and just space it out over the year. But how it works with advertising dollars is you don't hear anything for sponsored videos, mostly from January until April, May, and then a bunch of people want to advertise between E3 and Gamescom, which is between June and August, and then some people want to advertise in the fall. So I'm having all these sponsored opportunities go up on my channel. I really should just get back to my normal content. I feel a little guilty about it, but at the same time, it is nice to have that extra cash when I just got that Adpocalypse paycheck from April. And I don't know. I hate talking about money. I don't want to get too personal about it, but I want to be fully honest with you guys, and I just say thank you because I read through all of the comments, and besides some, the occasional sellout or whatever, you guys are all really cool. And I think that's the importance of being honest on your channel about what you're doing and why you're doing it, because if you leave it up to interpretation, then people, I don't know, my friends and I talk about really negative comment sections, and I'm glad I don't have that. So thanks to you guys. This is the series where I like to get personal with you guys, so I just want to say thanks before we get into the updates. But with that out of the way, let's get into the first update. On my last episode, I had a situation, I believe it was the first situation, where a guy said he was going to move into a dorm in college, and he was going to be roommates with who he called an ex-Marine. And I'm glad some people pointed this out in the comments. I didn't even think about it when I was reading it, but you're not an ex-Marine unless you are, I guess, dishonorably discharged from the Marines, or I don't know, there's that phrase, once a Marine, always a Marine, so you would just call him a Marine, even though he's not, currently serving, or he's not on active duty. But he said, "Hey, Joel, thanks for the advice on the roommate situation. Personally, I wasn't so worried about it until my mom found out. I thought the same thing as you, that he would be mature and have advice for us, but my mom flipped shit and was like, what if he has PTSD and strangles you in your sleep? Some crazy shit. So she got me all worried. I move in on August 17th. So around then, I'll have an update for you on how it all goes." So we'll have another update maybe in 2 months. That'll be fun. But that's kind of a very crazy thing for your mom to say. I guess it's a mother's job to be concerned, but that one was a little far out there. I don't think that's anything you need to be worried about, and I just think you're going to have a model roommate. I'm very happy for you. You could have just the shittiest roommate, but I think he's going to be a great roommate, so I look forward to that next update. And the other update I had to share with you guys, what's this one? I want to thank you for helping me with my awkward situation a few episodes back where I was nervous to tell my girlfriend I have night terrors. Oh, so a few episodes back, this was in like the middle of the episode. I don't remember which episode it was, but this guy said he had night terrors and he didn't know how to tell his girlfriend about it because they were moving in together. I was nervous to tell my girlfriend I have night terrors before we moved in together. I took everyone's advice and just told her. She was very supportive. I really had nothing to worry about, but I'd like to thank y'all for helping me build the confidence. So that's the importance of this series, I feel, to have other people point out to you that things aren't such a big deal. We make up these situations in our head and build them up to be way worse than they're actually going to be, and when you get an outside perspective on your own problems, you can see that they really aren't problems at all. And I get that from reading the comments too. I read about some things that people are struggling with, and I just think about how lucky I am in my own life to not have to deal with some of these things that you guys have to deal with on a daily basis. So thanks for the updates, guys. I always appreciate updates to awkward situations. And with that, let's get into today's first awkward situation right now. Awkward situation: me and my neighbor next door keep on arguing with each other. He keeps throwing trash in my yard, so I take my BB gun and shoot out his porch lights. I don't know what to do. Even when I stop, he just keeps throwing his trash every day in my yard, so I try to get him back multiple times and in different ways, but he just keeps on terrorizing me. Joel, please help. I chose this situation because I actually have a similar situation. My next door neighbor has this crazy neighbor who screams and slams his desk while he's playing video games, and it's very pathetic and sad, and it makes her scared. I'm just kidding. I don't know my next door neighbors, but I've been really lucky to never get called about anything that I do on the internet. I've never had one complaint from my neighbors like, why are you screaming and sounding like a serial killer? I know Mini Lad, who I'm friends with, has had multiple instances where he's had to move because he's been too loud in his apartment and people really complain about it. So I'm glad I've never dealt with that. This seems like a very extreme situation. This is one where I'd like to have more information, but sometimes it's good to not have all the information because then I can just make up the situation in my head. He just wanted to take the trash out one day, but then he looked all the way towards the end of his driveway and thought, damn, that's a long ass way. And then he looked over at your yard and thought, wow, that's right next to me. I could just dump my trash in his yard. Problem solved. And you saw that and got really pissed. And then it seems like this is the 6th movie in the Home Alone series, if you guys have seen this. Or no, Dennis the Menace. I don't know. All these fucking 90s movies are the same. There's some brat-ass kid and the parents scream. And I don't even know what I'm talking about. But it just sounds like the plot of a movie. It doesn't even sound real. You're shooting out his lights with a BB gun. I don't know where you live, but this sounds very dangerous. I would suggest, and this may be crazy, you communicate with this person and say, yo, dog, why are you throwing trash in my yard? My yard's there. It's nice. I try to keep it neat. And you put trash on my yard, and then I shoot out your lights with a BB gun. I apologize for that. That was not very nice to do. But it seems like you guys aren't really communicating except through acts of vandalism. And it can only progress, if you got to one-up each other, to one of you killing the other. I don't know if that was too extreme. I don't know if I took it too far, but maybe you should scale it back and say, hey, let's, come over here. We're going to do Super Mario Kart together. Actually, don't do that. That might cause you to hate each other even more and fight. But we're going to come over here, and you're going to come over to my house. We're going to do a puzzle, and we're going to resolve this in some way. I don't know. You probably won't be the best of friends just considering how far this has already progressed. But I would suggest communication. I've never had a situation where I've had a bad neighbor. Like I said at the start, I'm probably the bad neighbor for other people. I just haven't heard about it for whatever reason. I'm pretty terrifying, so I could see how people would want to confront me. I'm actually a beta male, but to the people surrounding me up top and below, well, I don't have anyone on top of me anymore. When I lived in apartments, I did. I'm in a townhome, but people below me and people on the other side of this wall, I probably sound like an alpha male serial killer, but that's just the beta male just fronting. I'm not really that, so I would suggest communication. If anyone ever had a problem with me and they came to my door, I would really rethink how I record. I would change my setup or whatever to accommodate them. So please talk to him, and I would suggest not committing vandalism anymore. Hey Joel, I've been watching for a while and I finally stumbled upon a situation myself. I am going on a second date with a guy, and he talked about that he loves kids. Now this is where it starts to get tricky because I have a muscle disease and I swore myself that I would never get kids to prevent them from suffering from it too. So now this made me really uncomfortable, and I wondered if I should tell him or just stop dating him. I really don't think he deserves to be limited for the rest of his life because of my decisions. Hope to hear what your thoughts are on this one. Well, my first thought on this is adoption is probably your number one option. I didn't mean for it to rhyme, but it did. I'm so smooth. If you want to go forward, I mean, you know your body better than me, so I'm not going to make assumptions. I guess I would say if you're 100% sure that your kid has a chance of suffering from this thing and you don't want your kid to suffer from it, maybe get another opinion from a doctor or two about that. But if you're 100% sure that they have even the slightest chance of having this disease and you just would not be all right with bringing someone into the world that is suffering through the same thing you're suffering through, I would highly suggest adoption. My father was adopted. Megan's mother was adopted, and they both have great lives. We have people in our family who have been adopted. Megan used to babysit for kids who were in foster care, and I've just been surrounded by adoption and through Megan seeing kids in foster care and knowing that there are so many kids in this world who need better homes, or you could go through, there's many adoption options too. You don't have to take someone from a broken home. You could find somebody who got pregnant and they don't want the child. Or actually, I know of a situation where someone will get pregnant and they it's really sad that they feel like they won't live through to see their child grow up through disease. I mean, there's so many situations in which adoption is an option. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that. as for talking to this guy about it, I would definitely say that it should be brought up. Timing is important with that. I mean, you don't want to be at your local arcade and about to beat the high score on Mrs. Pac-Man, turn to him and say, I never want kids, and then boom, oh, high score, yay, we're having fun. It's definitely something that you would talk about when you're having conversations about other deep things. It's a weird thing to bring up when you're dating anyway, like when you start talking about marriage and kids. If he's already stated that he wants to have kids, obviously he's opened the door to that, but timing is important. I would definitely say that, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on adoption and that type of thing. If he doesn't want to be with you for that reason, that's fine, but you owe it to him to be honest about your feelings, and he owes it to you to be understanding about that, even if it doesn't mean being with you. I think that's something that is important to discuss. Megan and I had the same feeling about kids and where we wanted to live, and, well, actually, we don't know where we want to live right now, but we're looking at different places, but just, you know what I mean. But before we got married, we had all that stuff figured out, and I think that's something that all couples should have figured out before they get married, what their feelings are on that, and not have one person have a different opinion and the other one be like, well, I'm going to change your opinion. So, yeah, I hope you get that figured out, and just know there's options. I'm sure you've thought about that. I'm not introducing a new idea to you, but I'll be interested to hear how that goes. Hey, Joel, quick question. I just turned 18, and I'm not sure if I'm obligated to give family like aunts and uncles gifts. Where do I draw the line on getting people presents? It's not like I'm working and can afford a big gift. Is it too late already, or do I wait until I'm done with school? Thanks for your time. If anyone in the comments has advice, please feel free to add your thoughts. Obviously, every family is different. I guess I'll just say my opinion on it. My opinion is that you should prioritize your parents first and foremost for gifts for their birthday or their Christmas when you get older, because they've done so much for you in their own life. I mean, they've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on you by the time you're an 18-year-old probably. So I see my parents as the people I most want to give back to on holidays and on their birthdays, and also siblings. I think maybe you didn't say you had, I already closed out the situation, so I don't know if you have brothers or sisters, but those are the people I prioritize most. And then I try to get my grandma something for her birthday. I only have one grandma, though. You might have like, well, no, I have more than one grandma, but I have one grandma that lives close to me. So like I said, I don't know. This is a different situation for everyone. I'd like to know the opinions of you guys in the comments, but for aunts and uncles, I would say no. I love my aunts and uncles, but I don't get them gifts for their birthday. They stopped giving me gifts once I turned 18, actually, so this might be something that it could be mutually agreed on between you and them, that, hey, you know, because once you start getting older, there's a lot of, or not once you, I was going to say once you start getting older, people start having more birthdays. Damn, you having a lot of birthdays this year. But, I mean, when you start buying gifts for people, you could potentially buy gifts for many people depending on the size of your family. And then if your uncles and aunts have kids, do you buy presents for their kids? And it's all up to, you know, what your family is cool with. But I would just say to prioritize, even if you can't afford much, even if it's a $10 gift, a $5 gift, whatever it would be, something for your parents and then your siblings, and then I don't worry about anything beyond that. I've been pretty successful at my young age, and I don't, you know, get stuff for my aunts and uncles, and my parents wouldn't expect me to. So, but every family's different. So whatever you want to do, I'm not helpful at all, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go to another comment. I'm going to do another awkward situation after this one, because this is something I've talked about many times before in different ways, shapes, and forms. But I pay attention to when people like a comment. It's not the foremost factor in me choosing, as you can see from a lot of the comments, but if something gets a lot of upvotes, I feel like I need to reply to it. So this is one of those situations. Awkward situation. I am 18 and was offered a job where I can make a lot of money, but in order to fully pursue it, I would have to leave college. I don't know how to tell my parents this, as they push me to become an engineer almost every time we talk about school, even though I don't want to be one. I really want to take this opportunity and see where it takes me, but I'm worried that leaving school will set me back in the workforce substantially if the job does not work out well. Seeing as you left school to enter a career, I would love to hear your views on this subject. Thank you. Before we even get to the question of you leaving school, I would say that if you don't want to be an engineer, you shouldn't have to be pursuing a degree as an engineer. You may be in a situation where your parents are paying for your school and they're saying, hey, if we're paying for your tuition, you're getting a degree as an engineer, which I think would be rather unfortunate. I'm going to save money for my kids to go to college, but I'm going to let them do what they want when they get to college, because I've been through that experience, and I know that it helps for you to pursue things you're passionate about in college, since you have to create your own structure and follow your own career and educational pathway. It's hard to do that when you're doing something you don't want to do. So I'd be shocked if you're probably smart if you're pursuing a degree as an engineer, but that would be really hard for me to put all that time and effort into something I really don't care about. So I would hope that even if you don't leave school, if you don't want to get a degree as an engineer, you don't feel the pressure to, unless your parents are putting you in some really awkward situation. Great for this episode, where they're paying for your college and they say, I want you to get a degree in this subject if we're paying for your college. And I don't know, that would be something that would be even more complicated to talk about, so I'm not going to go down that path if I don't know that that's the case. But my feelings on the subject are very complicated and confused, because I live on a college campus, or around a college. I have my whole life, so I see people graduating all the time. I see people moving on with their lives and moving into the workforce from college. So I was raised, your views on this are probably at least shaped in some way or form by how you were raised. And I was raised by people that graduated from college, and my father is very smart. And like I said, I've grown up on a college campus, so I constantly see people going to college and graduating. So I kind of feel like a failure for not getting a degree, and I wish I had a degree to put on my wall. When Megan got her degree, that was one of the happiest days of my life. I've already said I'm a beta male once in this episode, but I teared up, and I didn't think I was going to, tear up from happiness, but I did, because I know how hard she worked, and I thought that was a really cool accomplishment. It's a piece of paper. There's paper over here. It's some paper that says, "Hey, I graduated. Joel's smart." But once you get that paper, you got to get into the workforce like everyone else. So on one hand, I would say that it is always smart to stay in college if you can. On the other hand, you're going to college to get a job. And this was where the disconnect was for me when I was in college. By the time I got to Michigan State, I had to work really hard to get into Michigan State to get my grades up. And by the time I got there, I was already doing well enough on YouTube to where I had quit my other job and I was just doing YouTube. So I was doing YouTube and school full time. And shouts out to all the people who do YouTube and school full time. One of the people that is so nice on this platform, Noah J, a guy I always love to see at events who has a similar hairline to me. He just graduated from, I believe, University of Texas, Austin, and he was doing YouTube full time at the same time. And I know that's very difficult to do. So shouts out to people who complete their degree while doing this. But I was going to class for the thing I was doing at home. So I was paying for a class to learn about communications and arts, and it was kind of a lot of what I did at home, and I would make money at home to do it. So it just created this disconnect that ultimately made me decide to leave school. I don't feel confident in the decision at all, but to kind of branch out from just this question, I would say that as an adult, you're going to have to make many decisions. And there is no right or wrong answer. There is just the decision and what happens after it. So you have to deal with the consequences regardless. So don't feel like, if I do this, yes. If I do this, no. You just go with your gut and do what you want to do the most. Whatever happens afterwards, and you live with it. You just face that situation a lot in life where there's no right or wrong answer. So this is one of those situations. I hope you get it figured out, man. But I hope you're not letting your parents dictate your life, because you got to make these decisions for yourself. I hope that helped. Yeah. Hi, Joel. Here's my situation for you. So I started out at a new job bussing tables. About 2 weeks in, I'm bussing this table, and a server comes up to me and whispers, "Keep this to yourself," and gives me her number. When I go home and I look her up on Facebook and find out she's married and has a kid. I never ended up texting her, but now it's awkward when I see her when working. Any advice will help, even from the comments. Thanks, and please like so Joel can see, please. All right, well, I guess she really meant for you to keep that to herself, because she was trying to commit an act of adultery, which is very interesting. That would be an awkward situation, to be working in the same place as someone who wanted your nuts. I mean, she really saw you busting that table and thought, he must be packing a sausage that I'm interested in taking a bite out of, and gave you her number. Maybe she wanted to like discuss work stuff, actually. Maybe we should scale back from the sexual. Maybe she just wanted to discuss with you, hey, when you're washing the table, do you do a clockwise motion? Because I find a counterclockwise motion actually gets the table more clean. You could discuss strategies for working together, or maybe she just wants your dick, you know. It could be one of two things. I would definitely try to avoid being alone with her in the refrigerator at work. When I worked in the service industry, I like to hang out in the giant walk-in refrigerator to be cool. But if you catch her in there with you and you're cool together and you're surrounded by erotic things like frozen broccoli and frozen corn, you might get in a situation where she hops on you and you can't get her off. So I would stay away from her. The good thing about the service industry is jobs tend to turn over quickly, so maybe you or her will not work there very long, and it shouldn't be awkward for too long if she ever comes up to you and says, hey, why didn't you ever text me or call me? I would just say that I'm actually, I didn't want to discuss this with you, but I'm secret Amish. It's like Amish, but more chill, where we don't have phones, and if you ever see me with a phone, it never has the power on. I'm just looking at a screen and trying to resist, because that's part of my culture. We're secret Amish. We don't have phones. Don't actually do that. That's a terrible excuse. I was trying to think really quickly of something you could say. I don't know. I hope you get it figured out, man. This is kind of a weird episode of awkward situations that I don't know if I really helped anyone. Well, I felt like that college thing I could help with. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode. Leave your comments about whatever you want to talk about in the comment section below. Have a good holiday weekend. Well, the weekend's over today. It's Sunday, but Canada Day was yesterday. 150 years of Canada. Good deal. And, well, damn, a young country, only 150 years old. Not like our, damn, how old is the United States? 241-year-old country. Wow. Almost 250. US 250 in 9 years. So, good deal. Thanks for watching this episode, guys. Have a safe holiday. If you're celebrating the 4th in the United States, you know I will be, and I will film some fireworks stuff. Maybe shit from last week tomorrow if I can get my act together and edit all night tonight. Yeah. So, thanks for watching again. See you. Bye.
Jump the gun, baby.